Gary Gensler, the SEC chair who once taught blockchain at MIT without ever owning even a single Satoshi, has finally resigned after months of mounting pressure from the crypto community and, most importantly, Donald Trump's victory in the presidential election. Gensler announced he will step down. He'll officially remain in his position until January 20th, the exact day Trump takes office as president of the United States. That's right, one of crypto's biggest roadblocks is stepping down, opening the door to massive changes in the industry. This is more than just a resignation. It's a win for the crypto community and a sign of brighter days ahead. So, what does this mean for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the entire market? First, who is Gary Gensler, and why does the crypto community dislike him so much? His tenure at the SEC has been controversial, to say the least. Appointed in April 2021 by President Joe Biden, Gensler brought a wealth of experience to the role. From his time as the chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, under Obama, to nearly 2 decades at Goldman Sachs, where he climbed to the rank of partner, Gensler was no stranger to financial markets. He even taught blockchain and cryptocurrencies at MIT, famously stating that 3/4 of cryptocurrencies were commodities, not securities.
So we already know in the US and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs or not what would be called securities. Even in the US, Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate. But for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter, as a regulatory matter. Brodish.
Yet, as SEC chair, his actions told a very different story. Under Gary Gensler's leadership, the SEC launched a series of high-profile lawsuits against major cryptocurrency platforms like Binance and Coinbase, accusing them of operating as unregistered securities exchanges. But here's the problem. Instead of providing clear guidelines to help crypto companies comply with regulations, the SEC relied on enforcement as its primary tool. This meant companies were penalized for breaking rules they didn't even know they were violating because the rules were never clearly laid out in the first place. What's even worse is the SEC's reliance on the outdated Howey test, a regulatory framework developed in 1946, long before digital assets were even a concept. Applying such an antiquated system to modern technology has been widely criticized as unrealistic and damaging. This approach, often referred to as regulation by enforcement, created a climate of uncertainty and fear in the crypto industry. Startups and established firms alike were left guessing about what was legal and what wasn't. Imagine trying to innovate in an environment where the rules of the game could change at any moment, and you wouldn't find out until after you were penalized. The consequences were far-reaching. Many industry leaders accused Gensler of pushing innovation out of the US entirely. Facing this regulatory hostility, countless crypto companies began exploring or relocating to jurisdictions with clearer and more crypto-friendly rules. Policymakers and advocates for the industry argued that this exodus was not just hurting businesses, it was also damaging the US's position as a global leader in the booming digital economy. The criticism wasn't limited to whispers in the crypto community. High-profile figures like Representative Tom Emmer publicly denounced Gensler, calling him the most destructive SEC chair in history. His handling of crypto regulation was seen as not only out of touch, but actively harmful to both innovators and investors. As innovation slipped away from US shores and frustration mounted, the demand for Gensler's resignation became impossible to ignore. If you want to keep up with the biggest moves in crypto, remember to hit the subscribe button. So, who's next in line to take the helm of the SEC? Speculation is buzzing with names like Paul Atkins, a former SEC commissioner who opposes heavy corporate fines and supports a lighter regulatory touch. He's already a champion of digital asset adoption as the co-chair of the Token Alliance. Robert Stebbins, with a history as SEC General Counsel and expertise in securities law, Stebbins could bring a nuanced approach to the role. Bradley J. Bondi, a leading figure in securities law, Bondi has the backing of pro-XRP voices like John Deaton, who believe he could bring much-needed balance to the SEC. Any of these candidates could signal a new era for crypto regulation, one that supports innovation rather than penalizing it. And the market, oh, it's loving the news. Bitcoin skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping $99,518, just shy of the six-figure milestone. Dogecoin climbed 2.4% to $0.4, XRP surged to $1.60, and Ethereum approached $3,400. And here's something critical to remember. Ethereum's growth has a ripple effect. Many altcoins are built on Ethereum and hold Ethereum in reserve, meaning when Ethereum rises, these altcoins often rise too. It's a win-win across the board. The crypto community sees Gensler's departure as a victory and a fresh start. Industry leaders are hopeful that new SEC leadership will finally deliver the clear guidelines we've been waiting for. With transparency and support, the US could once again become a hub for crypto innovation. This isn't just the end of Gensler's era, it's the beginning of a new chapter. Do you agree this marks the start of something big for the crypto world? A spark for real innovation? Stay tuned, and as always, stay curious and stay hodling.